Now let's head to the Southeast, where national correspondent Joe McCann introduces us to the latest defensive star to emerge from SEC country.
The state of Georgia is deep in football tradition. Mel Blount, Herschel Walker, Richard Dent, and Champ Bailey all grew up in small, modest towns in the Peach State. In the town of Lawrenceville, you'll find an up-and-coming young talent who may someday join that small fraternity of all-pro players. Senior linebacker Trey Johnson is one of the most feared players in the state. He's the unquestioned leader of the Central Gwinnett Black Knights, and it didn't take head coach Todd Wofford long to take notice of his star player, even at a young age.
He's a kid that started as a sophomore because when I first took the job, I looked at him, physically, and I said, that's a linebacker. That's going to be one of my linebackers right there, inside linebackers. And, so he goes out, wasn't a, tremendously, vocal type guy, but, being a sophomore and having, juniors and seniors in front of him, but he goes out and has 152 tackles and is just a leader on the field.
The Black Knights have only experienced modest success during Johnson's time there. Now in his third season as a starter, that hasn't stopped him from being noticed by the top colleges across the country. It doesn't take a coach very long to sift through the tapes and see that Johnson is a rare breed.
They say they like that my downhill play, my playing between the tackles, and then, when they see me out in space, they say I play real well in space too. So, it's just a whole bunch of things. They always come with something different, a different recruiting way, just to show they love you. So that's the main thing.
Really a mature kid. He was offered by Auburn his sophomore year on signing day. Normal kid, is going to get a big head, brag about it and all that kind of stuff. He still never really talks about that stuff. He's real level-headed, and I think, again, he gets that from his dad.
Like most great players, Johnson not only has the physical tools to excel, but he's also the hardest worker on the team. His typical day in the offseason is spent lifting weights and running. His work ethic is second to none. Combine that with being a true student of the game, and you have one of the best players in the country. While he admits that working out in the dog days of summer can be challenging, he always has the bigger picture in mind.
When you're working, you really, that's what you try and use as your motivation, thinking about the game, the Friday night, it's going to be easy on Friday. So that's the main, motivational thing. But then really what helps you is when you get to the game and you think back, that really pushes you, just to keep going, on that 4th and 1. It really helps you a lot, just thinking back to when you were running on the track, when you were in the weight room and different stuff like that.
He is an all-around good football player, and he's a great linebacker. And one of the things that makes him so good is that he does study a lot of film. He talks to a lot of defensive coaches. He asks questions that a normal, football player, they don't even ask because they don't think about it. They just want to go play ball and then go hit something. He wants to figure out exactly what the offense is doing, and he figures that out, and he reads plays extremely fast.
Instincts of where the play is going are one of the most critical components of excelling at the linebacker position. One play in particular stood out last year as one that every coach dreams of seeing.
You see him scrape down the line, and then they come, and it was a picture-perfect form tackle. You could do a video off of how to tackle on this play, where he just explodes into this guy. The guy's head snaps back, and takes him off the ground, and kind of bulldozes him in the ground.
Central Gwinnett is not known for being a big-time program, but it does have something that's hard for outsiders not to notice. On the home side of the field, you'll find the Castle. It's a structure that serves as a concession stand and press box that is one of our nation's most unique landmarks in high school sports.
We're so used to the Castle that we never even thought twice about it. I didn't know it was that big of a deal until you really told me. But the Castle, we always just seen it as that's the Castle. It doesn't really stand out to us that much. But really, we wish the Castle was the field house and we could come out the Castle before the games because we thought that'd be real cool. But it's a concession stand, so I don't think they really let us come out there.
Good job. Good job.
It's something, when I first got here, that it's just something that makes this place special. This school is one of the oldest schools in Gwinnett County, if not the oldest, and we're the Black Knights, and to have a castle, it kind of makes it, home field something special to the kids. And when visiting teams come here for the first time or any time, they kind of gets them distracted just a little bit, saying that's a castle.
It's only fitting that such an old school structure serves as the backdrop to a player who, by all accounts, is a throwback in every way.
It's not about the show with him. He's not out there, with all kind of bands, wristbands, and do-rags, and all that kind of stuff, because none of that stuff matters to him. A lot of that stuff sometimes is show, and he's one of those guys that after the end of the game, you'll know that's my show right there.
In Lawrenceville, Georgia, I'm Joe McCann.